Hello, good evening, and welcome to Become a Better Man. My name is Tunde Disu. Thank you for taking time out to be part of today's program. On today's program, I'm starting a series talking about living in the past. Living in the past. Now, before you are too quick to say, well, that's not me. The truth is, we all live in the past. There's a part of us that will not let the past go. Now, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong. In fact, there are so many benefits in using the past as a reference, as a feedback point to where we are and where we're going. So the past is not completely a no-no. There are benefits to it. But you see, it is also important for us to be careful that the past don't dominate our present and rob us of our future, because that is also a possibility. So the question is this: do you spend a lot of time reminiscing about the past? Just thinking about the past? Remember, the whole essence of this platform is to put us in a place where we can be better at who we are, what we do, and where we're going. So, every now and again we have to face realities. We have to ask ourselves questions that ideally we don't want to answer. So the question today is, do you from time to time find yourself spending a lot of time or spending some time reminiscing about the past? Do you find yourself thinking fondly about the good old days? Look back at the way things used to be and the way things used to go down, and the hanging out with the boys, the going on in town, the things you used to do, the places you used to visit, and all of that. Do you find yourself spending time thinking about them, visiting them in your mind, reliving those lives in your head? Is that something you do? Because the reality is, I do. The truth is, we all do. It will be wrong. It will be untrue to say, oh no, not me. No, we all do from time to time. So if the answer to these questions are yes, that's fine. It's not a tricky question. I'm not trying to catch you out. It's fine for you to revisit your past, to look back at your life, to ponder the path of where you've been and how you've been. There's nothing wrong in referencing your past. It's not bad until it is. There's nothing wrong in looking back at your life and looking back at the way it used to be. There's nothing wrong in it until it is. Because it is very easy to go visiting the past and not find your way back to the present. Talk less of going into the future. See, there's a difference between thinking about the past and living in the past. There's a difference between thinking about the past and living in the past. Sometimes we live in the past. Well, in most cases, the reason we live in the past is because it's familiar. We've been through that journey. We've been through that emotion. We've seen everything that is going to happen. There is no more surprises about the past. So we know how this result is going to pan out. We know what the end game is going to be. We know where what the conclusion will be. So there's comfort in that knowledge. There is a kind of solace. It provides us with a safe haven, as it were, to run into. When the past was really good, you can live there, you can enjoy, you can just revel in it, because just thinking about it, just going back in your memory down that lane gives you some feeling of comfort and happiness, and you remember, oh, he said that, oh yeah, we were, oh yeah. And all of that is good until it is not good. Have you met people, especially, this is from my personal experience, people who served in the military, who really were on the forefront or just in whatever capacity of the military. And over the years, maybe they've served 15, 10, irrespective of the number of years. But now they are no longer in the military. But they tend to live, there are some of them that live their life perpetually in the military, even though they've been out of the military cycle for the past 10 years. So for them, every story is about the military. Every situation, there's a reference to the military. Every encounter is like, if this were in the army, when we were in so place, when I was serving in so place. And so they relive that experience over and over and over again. Now, again, there's nothing wrong in reliving the past until it is bad, until you can't see where you are. Talk less of looking forward to where you're going. Maybe you are the middle-aged person that always talk about your days in high school when you were the life of the party in the high school, when you were the senior prefect, when you were the school representative, when you were the athlete of the year in school. Or you are the mom now that has 3 kids, and you are always talking about, the time when you used to hit the town on Friday night, take on this, do this, and do that. Or maybe you are a retired executive. You used to have a corner office on the 23rd floor of the highest building in town, and you were the CEO of a FTSE 500 company, but now you're retired. And all you can think of, all you can relate to, all you can talk about, every time you open your mouth, it's something to do with your past. You see, if you find yourself clinging, jealously clinging to a specific period from your past, because you don't feel there's anything the future or the present and the future can offer you that will give you the same level of peace, of joy, of happiness, of recognition, of status, of the feeling of this is me, this is my life. If you are constantly revisiting your past because you can't see anything in your present, you can't even envisage anything good in your future, then it means you are living in the past. It simply means you are stuck in your past. And maybe you are contending with yourself, you are arguing with yourself to say, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Well, yeah, I do some of that, but I'm not one of those who live in the past and everything like that. Maybe you are like that. Like we said at the beginning, the important thing here is for us to be open and honest with ourselves. If you can't tell yourself the truth, then what chance have we got? So in order for you to determine whether you are actually living in the past and you are stuck in the past and you don't live your life now, talk less of planning for tomorrow, and everything about you is about what happened in the years past. If you are not sure whether that is your story, I'm going to help you tonight. There are questions that you need to ask yourself. There are answers that you need to find, because what they will do is they will help you recognize where you are. They will tell you you are here in this whole big map and maze and seemingly no way out. By answering these questions, you'll be able to identify where you are. So are you ready? Let me ask you. The first question: is there one particular period from your past that you find yourself clinging to? Maybe an experience, maybe an encounter, maybe a situation, maybe a season, a period. Is there a time in your life that as much as you try to move forward, that place just kind of hold you? That experience just hold you back. That situation will not let you go, or you will not let that situation go. Is there any specific that you can refer to, that you can relate to, that you can remember? Do you feel that you will never reach that level of happiness or that level of status or that level of satisfaction or that level of company or that level of joy and peace? Is that what is holding you back to that experience? Or are you frustrated with where you are currently in life? Because one of the things that will do is it will make you look back to say, I used to be. It used to be like this. How did I arrive at this situation? Why is this happening to me? How come I can't get out of this rut? Are you frustrated with your current life or your current state in life? Or are you afraid? Are you fearful of the future? Is the thought of there's going to be tomorrow, the thought that this year is almost halfway through, the thought that this 2020 is around the corner, are all these giving you nightmares, making you break out in sweat? Or does thinking back and looking back and remembering those things, does it make you feel sad? Does it just bring up some regret and remorse into your life? All of this, if you are able to answer these questions, if you are truthful enough to yourself, for yourself, with yourself, to answer these questions, then you'll be able to determine the answers that you arrive at will tell you whether you are stuck in the past, you're living in the past, or you're just visiting the past every now and again like every one of us will do. But let me tell you this. Living in the past is dangerous. Getting stuck in the past has a problem. It's a problem. Because when you live in the past, when you are stuck in the past, it robs you of the opportunity to enjoy where you are right now. Because all you can see, all you can think of, all you can imagine is the way it used to be. And so those beauty and joy and opportunities and blessings that are right in front of you, you can't see them. Because your eyes is stuck in the past. Living in the past will allow you, another problem with living in the past is, it will give you an excuse. It will give you an excuse to avoid dealing with the issues that you have in your life right now. Because you will look for something to blame. You will find a reason why you shouldn't be dealing with it. There's a reason why this should not be happening to you. When you live in the past, it will stop you, it will rob you of the opportunity to face the issues and the challenges of life that you are currently contending with. But worse than that is the fact that living in the past, being stuck in the past, will prevent you from planning for the future. And so you find yourself going around the same situation, the same circle, the same problem, the same issue, the same challenge, because you have not taken time either to live in the here and now or even plan for your tomorrow. And you know why we do that? You know why people get stuck in the past? You know why people are perpetually living in their yesterday? It is because of simple reasons. For instance, it is much easier for you to reminisce about your high school sweetheart. Oh, that boy that kissed you the first time, that girl that you had a crush on, that person that just consumed your whole emotion when you were in those days. It is easier for you to revisit that experience than it is for you to deal with the troubles that you are currently having in your marriage. It is easier, it is nicer for you to daydream about when you were a star athlete, when you were the life of the party, when you were the playboy of the college, than for you to look at yourself in the mirror now and see that instead of 6 packs that you were dreaming about, you now have 1 lump. Instead of that figure 8 and the guitar shape, now you've got 60, 70, 80 pounds hanging around you and you don't know what to do with it. If you are currently unemployed or you feel the job you are doing is below your standard, those are feelings that will make you want to recoil and run back into the past. Because come on. I mean, a whole me. Look at what. Why would I be doing this? There was a time when I was the boss, when I was the final authority, when everyone depends on me, when everybody looks up to me, when everybody were respecting me. What happened to me? All those experiences, those feelings will send you to the past quicker than you can say good morning. Yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery. Today is a gift. And that's why we call it a present. Yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery. Today is a gift from God. And that is why we call it the present. You see, life can only be understood backwards, but it must be lived forward. Life can only be understood backwards, but you have to live life forward. Somebody said, if we all have hindsight, he said, hindsight is a great thing. If we all have it, nobody will need a foresight, because we will all be living with a 2020 vision, a clear, crystal clear vision. You see, you realize that your mistrust of the future is making it hard for you to let go of the past. The future is scary, don't get me wrong. Oh, the future, tomorrow the thought of it is scary. And the reason it's scary is because of the uncertainties that comes with it. And there's a place for that. It's a place for us to consider, to be concerned about what will happen to me. What will happen to my family? What will happen to my career? What will happen to my reputation, my prestige? What if I only wake up and realize my best days are already behind me? What am I going to do? What if nothing in my future will ever feel good as what has happened before in my life? How am I going to handle that? These are legitimate concerns. These are legitimate things to bother, to worry you, to engage you. But what you must not do, what we must not do, is to use them as a vehicle, as a reverse gear into our past. Because we will be there for eternity. When there is everything in front of us for today. When tomorrow has a lot in stock that we need to explore and experience and enjoy. Ladies and gentlemen, life is hard, don't get me wrong. If anybody tells you it's an easy thing, it's a walk in the park, they're lying to you. Don't send them your Christmas gift again. But you see, even though life is hard and it's a daily grinding, the good news is that you and I, we have all the power. We have all the control over much of our lives. If only we would just stop and examine and recognize it. But more than that, if only we would just exercise the control that we have over life, rather than dreading life, rather than being afraid of it, rather than running back into the past. If you are fearful of the future, you're not alone. You are not alone. But you see, there are few things that you can do to help you move forward, to help you look at where you are, to help you appreciate where you are, to give you a reason to want to live for today, to give you a reason to want to get out of the bed tomorrow, to give you a reason to want to plan for next year and 5 years down the line. There are so much in life that, irrespective of how wonderful the past is, today has enough to occupy you. And tomorrow has got enough mystery, enough wonders, enough glory, enough surprises to keep your eyes on the horizon. So take stock of where you are right now. Take stock of where you are right now. What is it about you right now? What do you have in your life? What do I have in my life now? Right now, what is happening in me and to me? What is happening with you and to you, by you and on you, that you think it's worth you being grateful for? Being grateful for. At this hour, there is something, one thing in your life and in my life, that just for today, there's one thing you and I can be grateful for. Irrespective of the challenges you had faced in the office today, irrespective of the issues that you have to contend with in your marriage, with your children, with your health, with your business, with your career, with your ministry and everything else, there is still that one thing that we can all agree is worth being grateful for today. Spend some time. Spend some time looking for that thing, visiting that thing, remembering that thing, and be grateful for that thing. Spend some time planning. Spend some time planning. You see, the future is scary, like I said before, because of the uncertainties. But you see, you can actually reduce those uncertainties by you making some plans for the future, by you mapping a direction, setting a goal, envisaging what you want tomorrow to look like, to be like, to feel like, to have for you. Because when you put those plans in place, yes, they are not guaranteed, but it's better than not having anything and walking into the future blinded. Acknowledge that there are some things in life that you and I we will never have full control over. Wisdom is knowing what you have control over. And those ones you don't have control over, wisdom is in recognizing them, and don't grow gray hair because of them. Let go of those things that you have no control over and put your energy, put your resources, put your commitment, put your focus, your everything in those areas where you have control. And your life will start to turn out better than you even planned it, if you will do that. George Harrison said, it's being here now that's important. It is being here right now. That's what is important. He said there is no past and there is no future. Time is a very misleading thing. All there is and all there will ever be is the now, right? Like now. We can gain experience from the past, but we can't relive it. We can hope for the future, but who knows what the future is? We don't know if there's a future. So why not live? Let us live in the here and now and enjoy what is rightly in front of us. Like we said before, yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery. All we have is the gift of God, which is today. Let's revel, let's enjoy, let's milk it for everything that it got for us. But you see, when it comes to the past, when it comes to living in the past or reliving our past, generally people have two ways of dealing with the past. One way is for some people will just bury it as if it never happened, as if the past was never there. They adopt the attitude that says whatever had happened had happened. There is nothing you can do about it. Let it go, shut it down, finish. Then there is the other set of people that they go to the other extreme. They get stuck in the past. They are lock, stock, and barrel in their history. they have this mechanism that triggers some old memories, and that becomes overwhelming for them, that they just want to live there. And because of that, they struggle to let go of the past. Question: which one are you? Are you the type that will say, you know what, it has happened, there's nothing I can do about the milk that is spilled, so just cover it up and walk away from it? Or are you the type that says, oh, the good old days, man, those were days, those were seasons in my life, those were times that really just they just rev my engine every time I think about them? Which one are you? Because either you are in the former or in the latter, neither of this attitude is beneficial. Neither of this attitude is beneficial to your personal development, your personal growth, your current situation, or even your future. Because both of them will lead you to the same outcome. Whether you are the one that is saying, shut it down, walk away from it, or the one that says, I can't let it go, I must stay there. Whichever one, they will lead to the same outcome. Because if you avoid facing your past, if you avoid facing the past, recognizing the past, you have failed. You will fail to recognize. You will fail to learn the lesson. You will fail to pick up the blessing that the past has actually been a contributing factor to where you are right now. If you fail to consider your past, you will not know what part that history has played in bringing you to where you are right now. And so there's a tendency for you to make the same mistake again and again and again and again. On the other hand, if you overindulge yourself, if you are always ruminating and just reveling and won't let go of your past experiences, you will find out that every decision you are making now are influenced by something that is behind you and could be irrelevant, have no substance, have no meaning to your current situation. So whichever way, whether you are the one that said it's in the past, let it go, or you're the one that said I can't let it go, whichever way, it's not helping you. Because in both cases, you are failing to differentiate and live your life right now on your own terms. You are failing to recognize, to differentiate, to separate, and live your life of today on your own terms. You're letting other things, other people, other situations, other experiences to determine how you live right now. You see, the big, the small, and the in-between traumas from our early lives, they may not consciously feel like they are dictating our actions right now, but trust me, they are. They are. Somehow they have a way of coming out in the ways you don't even think they will manifest. They will just sneak up on you and just manifest. You find yourself suddenly, the partner you eventually choose to marry, the person that you eventually settle for to spend the rest of your life, is like you chose them 50 years ago before you were born. You realize suddenly the critical attitude that you have towards yourself is influenced by the traumas that you have experienced, by the challenges that you've dealt with, by the issues that has affected you in life. Even as far as the dynamics of how you relate and you respond and correlate with your own children, they are traces of your subconsciousness of your past history. If you are careful, if you are observant, if you pay attention, you could just see the movement, the lines, the gauge, the handwritten of your history just waving itself in and out of your life as you go along. Because events of your present day, the things that you are dealing with, the things that you are contending with, your daily experience now, they will have a way of triggering those memories, those painful times. Maybe you will see somebody that will remind you of that person. Maybe you will hear a voice that will remind you of something. Maybe you will smell something and it will just bring back some memories. Even as I was talking about the smell, I could just smell the student canteen of my secondary school. The smell, I can just smell it now in my how the place smells. I can see it right, that long hall that we all sit face to face. And the seniors are standing there just yabbering away when we should be eating. But I can smell it, literally smell the canteen of my secondary school days. But you see, I left secondary school in 1981, but I can still smell that hall right now in my nostril. That is the power of the past. But the challenge is, will I now want to relive that experience? How will that help me to deal with where I am today? What are the signs? What are the elements in your life and in my life that actually confirm that we're living in the past rather than living our lives right now? What are some of the truth, some of the signs, some of the proof that, yeah, the past is still on you, you're still living in the past? The first thing is, we repeat behaviors and we take on characteristics of important figures in our early lives, like your parents, your caretakers, your babysitter, your grandparents. Those individuals who are pivotal in your upbringing, who are like the people that molded your early lives. You tend to subconsciously, without even thinking, repeat the behaviors that you have seen in them and seen with them. Because as human beings, we have a tendency to over-identify with the negative traits of our parents. That's why people say your children will not do what you say, but they will do what you do. Because children learn more from what they see than what they hear. So it brings us to a point where we're struggling to surpass or to suppress ourselves in different lights, just to line up with those people that we see, with those people that that were our vital images in our upbringing. In our unconscious level, we take on our parents' traits in an effort to preserve the image that we have, even though most people will say, I don't want to be like my parents. And you end up just being like them. I don't want to act like my parents. But in most cases, that's what you do. Because you are unconsciously repeating the pattern that you have seen. For instance, if you have a parent that is very inwardly an introvert, most of the time you find yourself behaving in that same way. You see yourself pulling away from people. You are very careful. You are not a relational person. You just want to stay you by yourself. You don't want people to get too close to you. All those were traits that you picked up from these people. So without you thinking about it, without you knowing, you are repeating those same traits that you've seen in those people. On the other hand, if you have parents that are always worried, oh, what are we going to do about it? Oh, what about that? And what about this? It tends to affect the children. Things like that will come out of the children at some point. So the first way we play out the history of our past is by repeating those things that we saw or learned from people who are important in our upbringing, in our molding, in our shaping, in bringing us up before we become adults. The reverse of that is, instead of repeating it, we react to it. We react to it. That's why you see some children just rebel, because they're trying to refuse to be like those people who were part and parcel of their upbringing. There's something wrong in you identifying, I don't like this about my parents. I don't like that about my caretaker. I don't like that about my babysitter. And all of that. That's great. But what, as human beings, what we tend to do is we don't just recognize it, we react against it. For instance, if you grow up in a family, if you grow up in an environment where the parents are always like on each other's neck and always bickering and always quarreling and all, it tends to make the children think, you know what, if this is what relationship is all about, I don't want a part of it. But if you grow up in an environment where the parents are just can't get enough of each other and all of that, you see the children will be that way too. In either of the, whether you are repeating or you are reacting, we are still seeing the present through the filter of the past. And we're failing to separate ourselves from our history by not allowing ourselves to fully realize, you know what, I love my father and I love my mother and I appreciate who they are and what they have been in my life. But at the end of the day, I have my life to live. I'm an individual with specific characteristics, with specific traits, with specific goals. Thank God I came through them. But I'm here now. There's a purpose for me. There's an assignment for me. There's a place I need to be. There's something I need to achieve. I need to leave a legacy. I need to leave my footprints on the land of history. And so you have to think. It takes effort for you to appreciate who they are, what they've done, but recognize that, you know what? I have a life to live. I have a life to live. Another thing we do, apart from repeating and reacting, another thing we do is we recreate those traits. Another way we fail to step out of the shadows of our past is by recreating the environments and the dynamics. We recreate them, not knowing, not even thinking about it. How? You find yourself dating somebody like your father. You find yourself dating somebody or even marrying somebody who treats you like your mother. Because it has become part of you that naturally you just want that system, that pattern to continue. For instance, if your parents make you feel small, insignificant, they talk down at you, they yell at you, and all of that. That creates a form of insecurity in a child. And as that child grows up, they, without thinking about it, in most cases, they will end up in a relationship with somebody that will take advantage of their insecurity, that will just repeat the same thing that they've been through with their parents. But if you grow up in a family where you have been praised, you have been encouraged, there's so much love on you, that is your attitude, that's your view in life, that is what you know. And you tend to gravitate towards people that will treat you just like that. And that is why it is important for you to recognize and appreciate your parents, but decide what you want from your own life. Because if you fail to do that, if you are locked in the past, if you are stuck in the past, if you allow the past to filter every judgment that you make, you will just perpetuate the same story. And it will continue on and on and on and on. Also, if you grow up in an environment where people are always distorting the truth and they always, tell them I'm not at home or this, and you grow up, you start to wonder whether there's any human being, there's anybody out there that is trustworthy, because the environment that you grow up in is that of deceitful. People are very deceitful. So you don't trust people. Yes, you want to deal with them, but there is always on the back of your mind that's saying, be careful. They're not telling you the whole truth. There's something they're holding back from you. And so you tend to reject people, and it affects every relationship where you find yourself. Either it is emotional or relational or business, or in every of your relationship, that element just have a way of seeping in, and people can pick that up, that you don't trust them. And so doing business, for instance, being in a relationship becomes a challenge, because if there's no trust, what's the point? Some people will go as far as thinking in their heads, believing in their minds that their spouse or their partner is cheating on them, when there is no basis, no reason to believe that. But they think, I think I can smell it. I'm almost very sure that this guy is not all that. I mean, come on. When actually there is nothing. And so because of that tendency to be suspicious, you put the other person almost in a position where they're not at ease. So they're wondering, what have I done? What's going on? But because you are not sure, you can't even say it. But your actions, your attitude, your disposition is singing louder and shouting and screaming about it. It's important for us to recognize the part that our past lives rather, is playing in our present life. And it is equally, even more important for us to differentiate and separate them. I'm not saying discard completely what is happening or what has happened in the past, but I'm saying use it when it's needed as a reference point. Use it when it's needed as a feedback point, but don't let it become the driver of the vehicle of your life. Don't let it become a graveyard where you are locked into and you can't come out of it. Because whichever way, it's going to affect you in a wrong way. Quickly, what's the time? Oh, wow. quickly before we finish. Let's look at some signs that you're actually living in the past. At the beginning, I asked you to answer some questions and be truthful with yourself. Now, let me give you signs that you are actually, yes, you and me, we are actually stuck in the past. Number one, if you are always blaming yourself for everything, if you are always blaming yourself for everything, now it doesn't mean you say, "Oh, it's my fault." No, it doesn't come out that way. One of the ways, or the most obvious way by which it comes out, or you will pick up that you are always blaming yourself for everything, is if you notice that you are always saying sorry. Now, there's a place for apology when you've done something wrong. There's a place for repentance when you've done something wrong. But if everything and everywhere and to everybody is, "Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry." If you are using apologies as if it's the air that you breathe, then you're saying sorry way too much. And it could just be a sign that irrespective of what's going on, irrespective of who is responsible, irrespective of the situation, you always look inward and blame yourself for it, even when it has nothing to do with you. And the reason you do that is because there's something in your past that has trained you to be like that. And so you and I, we need to revisit the past and wonder, how did we arrive at this place? What made me come to a point where I assume guilt and responsibilities for even things that has nothing to do with me? Whatever is causing you to live in perpetual place of apology, you need to get rid of it. You need to get rid of it because it will put you down. You have low self-esteem. You will not be able to look yourself. You will despise yourself. But at the end of the day, none of us is perfect. None of us is completely whole. We all make mistakes. But also you deserve to give yourself a second chance. If nobody will give you a second chance, if nobody will extend a hand of forgiveness towards you, if everybody will be judgmental, because that's what happens. The whole world is against you, they judge you, they condemn you. If all of that is what you're experiencing, don't do it to yourself as well. Find a way to be kind to yourself. We all deserve a second chance. No matter how terrible you are or they say you are, there's always a good part in you and of you. And you need to find that. You need to let go. You need to break that hold that the past is having on you. Because you can't live your life forever apologizing. Now, don't get me wrong. There are instances, somebody said, when you live with a judge, you're always on trial. Everything you do is not good. Everything you say is incomplete. Everything where you turn is... There are people like that. But even in that situation, you still need to find a way to say, you know what? You can be the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. I'm not in your court today. So I'm not taking that banging of the gavel for me. It's not for me today. You need to help yourself with that. Another way by which you will know that you are actually living in the past is if you find yourself that you're always very bitter, in your heart. You could be smiling at everybody. You could be the most jovial, but in your heart of heart, there's a depth, there's a well of bitterness on the inside of you. And in most cases, that bitterness has nothing to do with where you are or the people around you. It is something from your past. It comes from past failures. Bitterness comes from past hurts, past disappointments, past abuse and all of that, they have taken residence on the inside of you. And so you are bitter on the inside. You are sad on the inside. You are angry on the inside. Even though you're smiling and shouting and no, but on the inside there's a pain of bitterness. Maybe a loved one left you and did something. Or maybe you lost your job in an environment or circumstances that you know, hand on heart, has nothing to do with you. You were not particularly guilty, but yet it cost you your job. Maybe it cost you this and you have to sacrifice that. And all of that can build a well of bitterness on the inside of you. Maybe you were abused, maybe you were insulted, maybe you were never encouraged, maybe whatever it is. If you find yourself that on the inside you are crying because you are angry, because you are upset, because you are sad, because you are bitter, it's a sign that you're living in the past. You are just, it forces you to take yourself back to the past over and over and over again to relive that bad experience, to relive that bad memory. And it will not help you until you let it go. Another way by which you will know you live in the past is if you are comparing yourself with everyone and with everything. When you live in the past, you are always comparing yourself with who you were and who you are. You are always, there's a place for healthy comparison. There's a place for pondering your path. There's a place for examining your life. There's a place for auditing yourself. But don't let that get down the slippery road of you now comparing yourself with others. In the first place, if you get into that, half of your life is lost. Because number one, you can never be like anybody else. There are no two of you that are exactly the same thing. Number two, the person you are comparing yourself with, if only you can sit them down and hear their story, you will fall on your knees, throw your hands in the air and give glory to God for your own life. Don't be deceived by what you see on the outside. Don't be deceived by what people wear or drive or say and all of that. Everybody's got an issue of blood that they're dealing with in the back or in the corner of their house. Maybe what you have now as a job, as a career, as a family, or maybe it's not as good as what you used to have. Maybe that you are from a very wealthy family where money has never been an issue, and now you are married, and your husband or your wife lost his or her job, and so the family is struggling now financially. And so what? And so you keep saying, oh, before I got married, I can remember. I mean, I would just press the bell and three of my dad's servants will run and jump out and that. If you keep doing that, even that relationship or that marriage that you think you have now, you've lost it long time ago. On the other hand, if you have a horrific and terrible past, there are people whose past were like, oh, come Lord Jesus. It was bad, experience was terrible. Just thinking about it will curl your afro. But now you have an opportunity to change that. Now you're in a relationship where your spouse is all over you, just want to love on you, want to give you the best, want to think the best of you. But if you are locked in the past of the the agonizing horror that you went through in the past, if it covers you in roses and pour honey all over you, you will still not see it. You will always point towards, well, this is not going to last. Something bad is going to happen very soon. Maybe, but 9 times out of 10, nothing bad is going to happen. Number 4, if you are always terrified of change, then it means you're probably still living in the past. You see, living in the past makes you become scared of change, especially to change in favor of the present, to prepare for a change in favor of the future. If you are always afraid of change in any aspect, your life, your work, your relationship, some people they were born, they went to school, they got married, they are working in the same 1 mile radius from time immemorial. Get out. Get out. Explore life. Don't imprison yourself. Even positive changes for some people, they are frightening. Okay, you've got a job and they pay you £35,000 a year. Now you have an opportunity to get another job that's going to pay you £50,000 a year. But just the difference is like you are terrified. Oh, what if I'm not able to do the job? What if they find out? No, if you are not good enough to do the job, they will have discovered that at the interview point. You've spent 5, 8, 10 years doing that same job. Have you thought about the fact that you've gained some experience and that experience is now needed somewhere and they will compensate you for that accumulated experience? But you're too scared of, oh no, I don't want to go to the front. I don't want to go forward. I don't want to change. I don't want. If you are constantly afraid of change, 9 times out of 10, you're living in the past. If you see yourself cringing away from a different job or moving to a different location or facing a new challenge, deliver yourself from the past. If you are somebody that is vengeful, you just want, yes, people have done you wrong. Yes, people have crossed you. Yes, people have robbed you. Yes, people have done bad things for you. But if you're just looking for a way, I will over my dead body, would they go away free with that? I must revenge. If that is what's consuming you, you know the Chinese adage, when you're going out for a revenge, dig 2 graves, because you don't know. You might kill the person, they might kill you, or both of you might just end up dead. If you see yourself constantly or every now and again planning to avenge actions of people who's done you wrong in the past, if you are always scheming, if only I can just, if this way will just, if all you are thinking about, for instance, about a person, an uncle, a brother, whoever it is, your boss, your this, your that, you're always looking and thinking and planning how to do them harm, you're living in the past. If you cannot let go of bad experience with a friend or a family member, you won't move on. You cannot move on because you are stuck in that same hole where they dropped you in the first place. Because he places you firmly in the past, waiting for retribution. Oh, I must get my pound of flesh from this person. That's the time for you to think of forgiveness. Do you know what? Yeah, what you did was bad. It hurt me. I didn't expect it from you. I thought more of you. I expected more from you. But you know what? That was 7 years ago. I've grown out of it now. I'm going to let it go. For your own sake. Somebody said, unforgiveness is like you drinking poison, hoping the other person will die. No, it's not going to happen. Because while your life is stuck in the past because of unforgiveness, guess what? The other person is having fun. They are living large and enjoying life. Another way for you to know that you are stuck in the past is that if you have low self-esteem, if low self-esteem, excuse me, comes from something that occurred to you in the past, and you are not feeling good, or you're not feeling attractive, or you're not feeling the best of yourself, even now, then you're living in the past. If you fail to move past, and please don't get me wrong, I'm not saying, oh, don't worry about it, just get over it. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying, find something within you. There is enough power, strength, and ability within you to move past it. Yes, somebody said you are ugly. Well, show me the person they made that is beautiful. Oh, somebody said you are this. That's their opinion. And it's only being expressed in a harsh way. It doesn't make you. Eleanor Roosevelt said nobody can make you feel inferior without your permission. The only reason that is affecting you is because you pay credence to it. You attach relevance to it. You ascribe credit to it. That's why you're feeling that way. But if you just don't, that's his opinion. That's her opinion. That's their opinion. That's not who I am. That's not what I am. That is not the sum total of my life. And you move on with your life. You are helping yourself to escape the trap and the hold and the bondage of living in the past. Our time is up, ladies and gentlemen. But before I go tonight, I just want to let you know that even though I've tried to race through what we've talked about tonight, this is not the end of this series. There's still 2 or 3 more programs on this same topic, because you see, I have the privilege of counseling people, of advising people, of being there for people. And over again, I've encountered people who have this issue. And so what that tells me is it cannot just be these particular people. This could be something that is affecting a lot of us. And so that was the thought behind looking at this topic on this platform. Because ultimately, if you and I can deal with our past, if we can let go of the hold that the past that it has on us, we'll be better. And the essence of this platform is for us to become better men and better women. So, come back next week for another part of looking at the effect of how living in the past is affecting us. Thank you for being part of today's program. Thank you for your comments, for your like, for your sharing. If you have not shared it, please feel free to share it now and let somebody else partake of the juice that is detailed in what we've covered tonight. I'm sure they will thank you for it. And finally, on the 11th of this month, which is this coming Saturday, we're having a conference called WordFest in Backing. It's going to be rich, it's going to be loaded, it's going to be life-changing. And again, I want to use this opportunity to invite you. Register tonight. Come to this conference. The details will be on my timeline after this program. Just 2 minutes, you've registered. The registration is free on Eventbrite. And let's gather together and examine the Word of God. I'm sure you'll be happy that you attend the conference. Don't forget, We're not just passing through here as if we were not. We have a purpose, we have a destination. There's a reason God has brought us together for this time. And let's not stop until we have achieved the purpose for which we're here. Because I am convinced that by the time we arrive at our destination, everybody will have no choice but to say, these are better men and better women. I'll see you again next week, or I'll see you on Saturday at the event, at the Word Fest event in Barking. God bless you. Have a great rest of the week. Bye-bye.